On September 20th, 1984, David Braben launched the progenitor for all three-dimensional spaceflight games, Elite. Lurking within revolutionary yet simplistic code was the place, the legend, Raxxla. A place that may or may not have existed. For most, this was just a footnote in a larger game. To a small number of people, however, this encaptured their imagination, bringing out the Indiana Jones in those individuals. Over the decades, as more modern iterations of the Elite franchise were created, this legend grew, with nothing to go by but the text located within the original Darkwheel novel. In those days, my experience with this game was based in frustration. Too young and impatient to properly learn how to play, yet fascinated with the concept, dreaming of what may be for games like this in the future. You all know the story with Elite Dangerous and my fascination with the subject of Raxxla. Some would even say it's the only reason why I'm still interested in this game. I feel I have some unfinished business with this game, more acutely the subject of Raxxla. You know the score. My material is not confirmed canon. Don't assume it is, or that I am claiming it is. Merely a grey old fool dreaming of the city of El Dorado, the halls of Atlantis, or the caustic shores of Raxxla. As some of you may know already, the bubble of humanity is currently embroiled in a vicious conflict with the enigmatic Thargoid alien race. Humanity reaching out to the brightest, those with the most courageous hearts, and those with the will to defeat this threat. Around a year ago, the individual known as Salvation gathered a large wave of effort from the community with the promise of a solution to the current crisis. With the help of the organisation Azimuth, humanity, led by this enigmatic individual, sought the prize that Salvation was offering: the neutralisation of the Thargoid threat. They rallied around a device derived partially from Guardian technology, the Proteus wave. This device was surmised to neutralise the Thargoids. Salvation subverted Thargoid surface sites and inserted the Guardian-derived technology into the heart of them, provoking an instant Thargoid response. Interceptors approached in a supposed bid to stop humanity. Salvation activated the device, and for a short period Salvation's apparent plan seemed to have worked. This did not last long. The Thargoid hive mind quickly reversed its effects and turned humanity's weapon against them. Salvation's flagship was quickly destroyed. Now, before I move on within the story, let's discuss Salvation. Salvation, otherwise known as Caleb Wycherley, or the Witch, was a former employee and vice president of Azimuth Biochemicals. For information on the events of their ships which farm Thargoid sites in the coal sack, check the link above. It is understood that he and his organisation helped to construct the mycoid weapon that ended the First War. During the events of the First War, whilst Inra was preparing the mycoid virus, one of the Thargoid test subjects broke loose at the research facility, killing many, but not Caleb, or as we better know him by, Salvation. Undergoing medical treatment due to facial injuries, Salvation was permanently scarred by this event, blind in one eye. Upon successful deployment of the mycoid virus, at the expense of the life of Commander John Jameson, Salvation faded into the shadows, kept alive by medical technology which could extend a human's lifespan many years more than their natural life cycle. It is worth noting, as the Proteus wave was initialised, Salvation was over 200 years old. During the time in between the first Thargoid war and the current one, it is rumoured that Salvation lurked in the shadows, predicting the Thargoid's return and preparing for such events. Organisations linked to salvation drip-fed humanity with trinkets of information and technology that would become pivotal in humanity's resistance to the Thargoid hive mind. What's this got to do with Raxxla, you may ask? Please, bear with me. Firstly, it is now confirmed as canon that the Thargoid surface sites which I have covered in the video linked above were in fact Thargoid motherships, or as we now know them, Titans, the same inconceivable vessels that Commander John Jameson mentioned in his logs. Although I theorised that the Thargoids of the time were attempting to repair these vessels, it is generally now known that they were doing the opposite. The commonality with the number 8 and all other major events within the games suggest that this number is some kind of key, some kind of cipher or highlight. Raxxla, the Thargoids, the Guardians, all the big stories and big legends reference 8 in one way or another. The 8th gas giant, the 8th moon, 8 petals on a Thargoid vessel, sap 8 containers, even the name Raxxla itself is a reference to the number 8. This is our key. But key to what, you may ask? For a full breakdown of the number 8 hypothesis, please watch the Ouroboros Permit Part 1 and 2 linked above. Moving forward with modern events, as Salvation's weapons failed, not only did it fail, with the Thargoids reversing its effect, the Proteus wave awoke forces as yet unseen to humanity. Arriving in the shadows, many light years away, a response was heard from across the known galaxy. An as yet unknown object was on the move. Over time, the transmission, the response so to speak, that was heard was partially translated. We see them. We are coming. Shortly after the battle of HIP 22460 and the failure of the Proteus wave, the stars began to move with rapid pace. Firstly, a singular object was identified. This object, known at the time as the Unidentified Interstellar Anomaly, or Stargoid if you will, was defying the laws of physics, travelling faster than the speed of light, using a method similar to supercruise but with much more velocity, originating from the Orion Nebula. FTL travel is traditionally achieved by tunnelling holes in reality, as though folding a piece of paper and punching a pencil through. These objects were observed to have 8 tendrils, just like all the other major Thargoid vessels. As time went on, another object, identical to the first, was identified, and then another, and another, until there was 8. These objects were heading for the bubble. Many attempts were made to intercept the Stargoid anomaly, but as to the limitations of human technology, this was never achieved. These objects approached human space. It became apparent that they were nebula-themed objects, as though something was moving them from the inside. Nothing like this has ever been documented publicly. These objects became known as the maelstrom. As they slowed, reaching their initial destination, it became possible to investigate them. Early pilots who ventured in noticed an almost immediately hostile environment, derived from Thargoid atmospherics of caustic nature. Venturing further into the maelstrom is difficult as to the nature and hostility of these locations. You will need new devices and fine-tune your ship to cater to this environment. Please refer to Canon and AXI's excellent work on this subject, links in the description. Over a period of time, a breakthrough was made, and within the maelstrom's core lay its secret, the Titan. A vessel of Thargoid design. hosting immense weaponry and impervious to all damage currently, it is not advised to seek conflict with this object. Thargoid sensor technology uses heat as a detection source. Running the ship at low temperatures will give you success if you seek to venture inwards. New Thargoid ship designs such as the Thargoid Hunter will be encountered. Curious to the name of these vessels, but we will get to that shortly. The focal point of this location is at the core of the Thargoid Titan itself, a gateway. At this point we reach conjecture and speculation. Dust off your tinfoil and strap yourself in. First of all, you'll notice that number again, the number 8. It is a common theme in this place. Placed upon the rear of the Titan are 8 tendrils encompassing 8 nodules. To the front centre of this vessel is a gateway of which you'll notice smaller vessels emerging from. It is not currently known if this gate is an access point for the vessel itself or is a gateway to another place. As we currently understand the Thargoids, it is not known where they come from, their point of origin, only that the first maelstrom was observed and originated from the Orion Nebula. All attempts to enter this gateway have been met with failure. In coincidence with this event, and possibly unconnected but is worth mentioning, has been the rekindling interest in an anomaly originating from around the centre of the galaxy, the landscape signal. For a full breakdown of what this may be, watch the signal video linked above. If you want concrete facts to the signal, please visit Canon's website and get involved in their expedition. Now, let's link these two events together, the landscape signal and the Thargoid Titan. It is obvious that some kind of key is going to be needed in order to enter the Titan's gate. Various existing objects have been experimented with at this location, but with no success. The landscape signal may hold some kind of object that would subvert the shunting effect of the gateway on the ships of humanity. It is known that the Thargoids have a fleeting presence at the centre of the galaxy and have been observed to be searching for something. The signal itself is basically a sound that, when placed in a spectrographic analyzer, produces the image of a mountain. Believe me, I have searched for many hours. I have not found a match for this object. As to my thoughts on the gateway itself, I believe it is connected to Raxxla. The Thargoid storyline in the past has always hinted that they are searching for something, not simply wanting to exterminate humanity. They search for people, they search for locations. Yes, they are hostile to humanity, but is it really as obvious as a simple extermination arc? We all know that Guardian technology interacts with humans, that Thargoids have an allergy to Guardian technology, if you will. Yes, they were witness to interfere with Guardian technology, but was it really directly them who did this? As we know, Salvation coordinated the Proteus wave, and that we know that the reason this device went wrong was partially because of the actions of a cultist group who worship the Thargoids. The hive mind have also been observed to have the capability to indoctrinate humans. Was Salvation also subverted at some point, and was his failure a calculated plan of the Thargoid hive mind? Why did the Thargoids abduct humans, particular humans, not entire planets? It would be quite easy for the devs to replace Earth-like worlds with populations with barren rocks in their place, simulating a harvesting or some kind of world-ending event for those people. I'll repeat this, the Thargoids do not simply want to kill us, they are looking for something, or someone, or both. Do they need a human to open something that they have found but cannot open? As to humanity's perspective on this, and from our point of view, the point of view of the player, we may need some kind of object in order to traverse the gateway at the centre of the Titans. The Thargoid Titans, all 8 of them, are located in various places throughout human space. their origin point unique to one another. Their names are as follows: Kuchigo, Hadad, Indra, Ligong, Oya, Rajin, Turanis, and For. All of these names were taken from human religious texts from various monotheistic and polytheistic beliefs. They are often interconnected or have references in multiple, often contradictory religions, as though each having a local version of the same deity. All of them share common themes, that of lightning, weather, and rain amongst others, and often being the creator of all natural things. One of these, however, stands out to me: Turanis. In Celtic mythology, Turanis is the god of thunder, who was worshipped primarily in Gaul, Hispania, Britain and Ireland. Turanis, along with Isus and Tutatis, was mentioned by the Roman poet Lucan in his epic poem Pharsalia as a Celtic deity whom human sacrificial offerings were made. Turanis was associated, as was the Cyclops Brontes in Greek mythology, with the wheel. Turanis and his connection with the wheel, either of 6 or 8 spokes, was represented by an important symbol in Celtic polytheism, apparently associated with a specific god known as the wheel god, known by the Roman scholar Lucan. Numerous Celtic coins also depict such a wheel, a half wheel shown in Gunderstrup's cauldron, broken and incomplete wheel. The wheel has 8 spokes. One last thing that I'm going to point out is a location that was revealed some time ago: Hyford's Cache. This cache refers to a Type 9 shipwreck on Planet 5 Echo Alpha in the Colonia system. This shipwreck belonged to Commander Hyford, who fled to Colonia in early 3303, escaping the secretive Black Flight paramilitary organisation, which in turn is connected to Salvation. This organisation were located in HIP 22460 before the permit lock was removed. They had a vessel in this location called Overlook. Hyford scuttled his ship and sealed a time-locked message inside before going into hiding. The data core at this location was time-sealed until 3307. Upon its reveal, it pointed players to a place called Oaken Point, located within HIP 26176. This location reveals a black op called Project Seraph and the aforementioned Oaken Point, itself a secret facility, as well as a series of listening posts that lead players to HIP 22460. Project Seraph's goal was to subvert Thargoid vessels and technology for human use, producing a breakthrough in neural technology that would allow a human limited interactions with the control of Thargoid vessels. Using an intact Thargoid vessel in their possession at this facility, Blackflight's goal was only partially accomplished. The Pilots Federation permit-locked HIP 22460 for a period of time to avoid unwelcome attention. The events of the Proteus wave were also located in this system, and this story was the first known mention of the Witch, otherwise known as Salvation. Commander Hyford, before fleeing, was tasked with the transportation of human subjects to Oaken Point. Blackflight used live humans in their experiments, often killing the subjects. It seems Salvation's theme, and the theme of his organisation, was the subversion of Thargoid vessels or technology, using humans as hosts for these ships. We know that Thargoid ships are capable of traversing the Titan Gateway, and if you remember, Professor Palin was rumoured to be successful in his subversion of a Thargoid vessel, the Orthrus. It would not be difficult or require a great effort to incorporate a captured Thargoid vessel as a usable ship. The reward for completing the first elite game was itself a Thargoid vessel. Either we need to unlock a Thargoid vessel to enter this gate, or we need to locate some kind of key to unlock the gate without the need for piloting a Thargoid bioship. We might need to do both. What if the gateway is only the first step on the path to Raxxla? That upon emerging through the Thargoid gateway, do we encounter another doorway that the Thargoids have not been able to open themselves? Are the Thargoids kidnapping humans in order to unlock this doorway? What is behind this door? If you have a thought on this subject, please feel free to discuss below. To the whisperer of which space? To the siren of the deepest void. I would like to thank the members Mal Olsen, Ministry of Magic, Department of Mysteries, The Good Boy, Wildwood Mower and Saw, The Operative, and AZ. I would also like to thank D Pittman 42. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the watch. If you want, like the video and press the bell button below. I have a coffee if you're interested, link also below, and there are also membership options with exclusive content if that's your kind of thing.